Here she is. MM12P Mini Moto 12 Production. MM12P. Number 35 out of, I believe, either 2 or 250 that were produced by BBR Motorsports between 2009 and 2010. This one happens to be a 2009, of course, as it's an early production number. I purchased this frame. I wouldn't so much call it a frame kit because it was missing a few things that the frame kit would have, but I got the frame, Super Pro swing arm, not this swing arm that you see here, and an Elker Stage 3 rear shock. Came with the foot pegs, didn't come with the skid plate, no plastics, no seat, no exhaust, no brake, none of that. Didn't come with anything. No gas tank, no gas cap. So I picked that up about 5 months ago, and it took me throughout, the whole summer of 2020, looking on all the forums, Mini Moto MX, Planet Minis 2.0 on Facebook and stuff like that to track down most of the parts that I needed. I was able to get the original D2 exhaust that actually came off this frame kit. Believe it or not, I bought it on eBay, and I spoke with a person on Facebook that said he had the exhaust that came off this frame because he knew the person, There's not too many of these frames out there. There's only 200 of them made, so, people tend to know who has them, put it that way. The community is very small that owns these bikes. So, after I got that, I ended up getting a bunch of parts, trying to track down as much as I could for it. These MM12P parts in particular are very, very hard to come by. So, just trying to think of which parts that I came by first, because I didn't have any wheels at this time. I had no seat, which you can buy this seat. This is the updated seat. It has the new logo on there, and it's also much stiffer than the original BBR seat, so that's pretty cool. So now this is like a month in. I found the exhaust, and I found a few other small pieces. The next big pieces that I was to score was the swing arm, the rear brake setup, the complete rear brake setup with the BBR hanger all the way to this piece right here, master cylinder, and the wheels without the tires. So I got these are the original, not to this bike, but original to, I forget what number, maybe it was 38 or something the kid had. So these are the BBR team hubs, the Works hubs. Really nice setup right there. And these are the BBR deflection rotors, the team rotors and everything. It's a whole production bike setup, essentially. That's how they came. And it did not come with this new Galfa rotor. I bought this rotor myself, but it came with just like the BBR, the rear, just like that rear rotor, the BBR deflection front rotor. I put this on myself, but I also added the Midas tires, front and rear. Awesome tires. They're really thick compared to even the IRC, but much thicker than Dunlop's. Don't ask me what this is, guys. This is... Someone's gonna be like, you got hiding a body over there or something? Matter of fact, what is that? Little clip-on thing? Okay. Anyway, so there's the rear. I think I might go up in teeth. This is a Red Baron rear sprocket, but it's for the KLX 110 35 tooth, and with the Daytona 190 or even the YX 190, you're gonna want to run like a 40, at least like a 38 or a 40, or even a 42 tooth rear sprocket. So I was able to get the swing arm, the Super Comp swing arm. I sold the Super Pro, and I was able to get the wheels all together. I think I paid like $750 for that, which was a really good deal, because just these wheels alone in this condition was worth like $1,500. So next thing on the list was to track down a gas tank and the front end. The front end and the gas tank came together. So I'll tell this story, how I kind of got that. This gas tank ended up coming from France. Same with the front forks. These are the original Marzocchi mini cross shiver front forks that came off another MM12P that was parted out in France, and another kid in California actually bought the rest of the parts. I bought the forks off of them. These are already coated too, and you might not be able to see it, but in the back of the shocks are already black DLC coating on instead of just being like a chrome color. So that's an upgrade too in itself, and they're in really good condition, actually like mint condition. I just put new fork bleeders on there, and that was pretty much it. It still has the original, the BBR decals on there from Fusion Graphics, and still the original plastics, obviously. And I think, what I paid for that? I think I paid like $600, which was an extremely good deal from coming from France. So that came with that whole setup there, no clamps or anything like that. So I still had to track down some clamps. The next piece that I was able to get, which now these are all discontinued parts that you can't just go buy right off the shelf. This was a brand new old stock under pedal for the Daytona 190, because when you run the Daytona engine, you can't run the over-the-top brake pedal, so you have to make sure that you have this one here. So lucky enough, I was able to find this whole setup with the clevis, the rear piece, the whole nine, looking mint with the brand new pedal. Usually they come red, but this one wasn't anodized, so I'll either have to get that done or just leave it like that, but I think it still looks good just like that. So I got that. I think I paid like $375 shipped with that, and the person made me this little dowel right here. You have to have that, so when you push down it stops. I'm just missing a spring. I have to have either get a spring or have it custom made, because on this bike, some people put a spring here, but it has a spring that goes behind here to, stop it from just kind of moving around on its own. I was able to buy this from BBR. They still have these in stock. This is the Daytona 190 skid plate, and it comes with all the hardware and everything. Really nice skid plate. I like how they did that middle piece there to help with vibration. The next pieces I was able to get was the BBR work clamps, or wrap clamps, however they say it. So these are the 1-inch spacers, top clamp, and usually they come with the fat bars, but I got the other style clamp, which is the 7/8 bar, because I like the mini RC bars on my pit bikes. The bottom clamp was actually broken when I got it. Kid must have took a gnarly crash and broke off the bottom stopper, so I milled that down nice and flat. I'm gonna make a new piece like this, same thing, and then I'll drill a hole in the middle of that, and then just through bolt it, tap this, and then put like a 8mm in there and just tap it with some Loctite, and it should be fine. And running I forget, TRC billet throttle, really nice throttle, nice function, easy to take apart. KTM 65 front fender and front number plate. I'm gonna have to modify this because the clamp has the same bolt pattern right here, but when you try to slide it over it, it's just too wide, the fender itself. So what I'll have to do is shave the sides down a little bit until I get it to enough clearance there. Enough clearance. So yeah, that's the MM12P. Pretty much almost together. Got the rear fender, got all the plastics. You can still buy these from T-Bolt. These are really hard to find. The original MM12P rear fender, how it's straight like that, and it still has the KLX 110 design. I recently just got the shock, the brand new MM12P shock. This is made by D&M. the original one that came on here was originally gold, blue, had a blue piece here, this gold body. Wasn't a big fan of the color, so I upgraded to a brand new one, nice black one. I sold the Elka Stage 3 shock that I had for the D&M just because I like how it has the piggyback reservoir instead of having to like bolt it up under there. It's just a pain. Easy to adjust this one on the fly. Running the YX engine. I just built this, just finished it up, and on 620. So a couple months ago I finished building this. This is a 193 rounded up to 194 cc. It has a 64 millimeter piston with a 60 millimeter stroker crank, or just a long stroke crank I would say, because usually they're like 57 millimeters. So running the 420 gold chain by Pro Taper. I have both covers, as you can see. The Pro Circuit ones will be going on there soon, and the factory racing cover by the Boysen, really nice. Hotfoot Moto chain slider. Trying to wrap this up. I just realized I'm 11 minutes into this video. There's a lot of stuff to point out on this bike. I just wanted to make this video just because there's a lot of people out there that might be interested in building one of these and might just need to check out some parts or something like that, so I did my best. I'm going to be making a custom oil cooler that will bolt to underneath here, and it'll go all the way across. The original MM12P one just kind of went diagonal like this, and it wasn't a really good design. They always got clogged up and they didn't get air very well, so gonna do that. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for checking out this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. You can follow me on Instagram at JesseK410 to see more pictures of this bike. I'm gonna be putting it together relatively soon as I make the piece for the clamp, and then I just press it all back together and then throw the front end on, put the motor in. I was thinking about doing the Daytona 190, but it's just such a heavy engine that I might be better off running the 194 that's lighter, 2-valve versus the 4-valve, and not having to reinforce my mounts, because when you put the big heavy Daytona, you definitely want to reinforce these, box them in. So it's a little tip too. Thanks for watching, guys. One more little shot around this side so you can see her in all her glory. BBR.